Have you ever wondered if prayer is just pretending, or maybe you thought this feels too good to be true? After reading so many comments, questions, and stories from my last two videos on praying as God, I felt inspired to dive deeper into this. So here's part 3. Today, I want to clear up any lingering doubts about prayer and share why it's not pretending or too good to be true. First, thank you to everyone who shared your experiences and engaged with my last two videos on praying as God. The stories of how you're applying these daily are incredible. Some of you had doubts at first, but many of you have seen how powerful prayer can be when you approach it from a place of trust and knowing. In this video, I will explain what praying as God really means, why prayer isn't about pretending or forcing, and how to overcome that too good to be true mindset. I'll also share examples to help you deepen your practice. If you're seeing results, or even if you're still exploring this concept, leave a comment below. Let's keep this conversation going. Praying as God means knowing that you and the divine are one. This isn't about praying to something outside of yourself, but from the understanding that you are a creator, just as God is. You, your I am, your higher self. When you pray, you are aligning with the truth that you already possess everything that you desire. It's just a matter of assuming that reality. Neville Goddard teaches that prayer is the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you pray, you aren't asking for something. Instead, you are becoming what you want to experience. You are allowing it. You are welcoming that in. Emmett Fox, a prominent New Thought teacher, described prayer as a state of consciousness. He believed that prayer works because it aligns your mind with divine truth. For instance, if you are praying for healing, you don't focus on sickness. You affirm health and embody the feeling of vitality. Imagine manifesting a loving relationship. Instead of pleading, I want someone to love me, you pray as if you already have that now. You feel the warmth of love in your heart. You smile as if you've just received a loving message, and you act from the confidence of being cherished. Maybe you feel the warmth of their body beside you. Maybe you feel their hand in your hand. Things along that. So, one of the biggest misconceptions is that prayer is pretending. But pretending implies faking or denying reality, and that's not what prayer is. True prayer is about shifting your awareness to a higher state of being. You are not lying to yourself. You're stepping into the truth of what already exists in the unseen. Neville explains that faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Pretending tries to convince you of something, but prayer comes from trust. When you pray, you are not imagining something unreal. You are tuning into a higher reality that's just as real as the physical 3D world. So Florence Scovel-Shinn, this is a name I cannot pronounce, but I said it anyway. She taught that what you feel, you attract. She encouraged people to act as though they already possessed their desires, not to deceive themselves, but because this is how the law works. If you desire abundance, for example, you embody gratitude and trust as if you've already experienced that wealth. Let's say you want a new job. Forcing looks like endlessly worrying about the outcome. This is micromanaging every step and doubting yourself. Prayer, however, invites and allows. You sit with the feeling of working in a place you love, imagining your excitement on the first day. Maybe it's been a month, maybe it's been a year, maybe you got a bonus. Then you release it, trusting the process. Maybe you sit with the feeling of working from home. hearing the traffic, remembering when you used to be in the traffic and now you're at home enjoying your own space, doing what you love. That's what I did, and it worked. So it's common to think, can this really be so simple? But the truth is, you are already using this law, whether consciously or unconsciously. Most people unconsciously focus on fear, doubt, or lack, and that's what they experience, that's what they get. When you shift your focus to love, joy, and abundance, it may feel unnatural at first because it's a new habit. But the law of assumption doesn't judge what you focus on, it simply reflects it back to you. Think about how often we assume the worst in situations. For instance, if you're worried about being late to an event, you visualize traffic or imagine yourself rushing, and often that's exactly what happens. So the same principle applies to prayer, except this time you're directing your focus towards what you do want, like smooth traffic, or arriving on time with ease, or being early, having an extra few minutes to sip on your coffee and finish a podcast episode. Prayer is like exercising a muscle. At first, it may feel difficult to shift your focus from doubt to trust or faith. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay in the state of the wish fulfilled. The key is to stop, be still, and know. Don't overcomplicate it. Feel the emotions of already having your desire. Trust that what you assume internally will materialize externally. Also, go about your day in the 3D living from your end, noticing the meaning you add to what you perceive with your senses. If something doesn't align with your desired reality, revise it on the spot to match your ideals. For example, if you encounter a delay, instead of seeing it as a problem, assume it's working in your favor. If you're in the grocery store and you look at the price of something and you think to yourself, I can't afford this, or that's expensive, revise that on the spot, because if you're a wealthy, abundant person, would you care about those things? So this practice reinforces your prayers, keeping you aligned with your desires and strengthening your belief in your power to create. Prayer is not pretending, and it's not about forcing anything into existence. It's about inviting your desires to take root in the space you've created. Praying as God means trusting your creative power and knowing that your assumptions shape your reality. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What's one thing you're inviting into your life today? Or share how you've been applying this daily. I'd love to hear about your wins and your lessons. And if you haven't watched my last 2 videos on praying as God, make sure to check them out next. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Let's consciously create together. I love you guys. See you next time.